Hey, fam. Hey, fam. Hey, fam. Hey, fam. It is your girl, Miss Michelle Franklin, honey. Miss Michelle Allen Franklin. Miss DI. Miss Community Builder. Honey, I'm like Puffy. I got 1,000 names. They're all relevant, baby. Your girl is here. I'm back, honey. It's Tuesday. Oh, thank you, Lord, for Tuesday. It is Tuesday. Let me tell y'all something. Determination, persistence, all of the above, honey. Sometimes it takes all of that to just get it done. Keep it pushing. Your girl was determined to get on this live today, honey. It's so much. It's so much going on sometimes. The way this mind works, the way my mind is set up, y'all, it just be so much going on in there. It be so much going on. Sometimes you just got to slow down. Take a breath. Keep it pushing. Just keep going. That's what we're doing. We are going, honey. We have pushed through. We have kept going, and here we are, honey. Day 16. Faith walk. That's what we're doing. Why faith? Why faith walk? Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Honey, if you didn't know, now you know. It is Mental Health Awareness Month, baby. And of all the things, sometimes it is just hard. It is hard to just keep it moving, keep it pushing. Sometimes you want to just, I'm done. I'm over it. Let's go. Pack it up. I ain't doing it. I was going to do it, but I'm not now. You let the devil seep in and just crash your dreams, destroy you. You get a little adversity, honey. And what happens? That wasn't meant to be. It wasn't meant to. You talk yourself out of it. No. We keep pushing. We keep going. Why, honey? Because your voice, your mind, your body, your spirit, all of them emotions, honey, it is all normal. It's all normal. We all have it. Guess what? We just ain't that out. We're not talking about it. We all here acting like everything is fine, honey. I'm a 77's baby, but ain't no future in your fronting. Y'all remember that? Ain't no future in your front. Stop fronting. People going through stuff, they just acting like everything is fine. It's not fine. It's not fine. So if you have a moment, you going through something, take your breath, honey. This is scientifically proven. I'm not just making this up. I'm smiling. I joke a lot, but I'm serious. This is scientifically proven, honey. It's called breath work. Take your breath. Release it, honey. Release it. Yeah, take your breath. That feels so good. You're going to find yourself just all of this tenseness is up in here. Just a little trick I do is when I'm teaching, when I'm in my groups, I have, workshops and, paid programs and things like that I do. And so one of the tricks I give it to you for free. I give it to you today. One of the tricks I do, and I tell my group, and you can do this, it works. I'm visual, right? So all the negative things that's in here that I might be thinking at the moment, whatever it is that's going on, whatever the situation is, whatever the circumstance is, and I'm thinking about it, it's overwhelming me. It's toxic. I view it as toxic. So if you see those big puffy clouds of pollution, right, and toxicity and just all that gray matter that's up in the atmosphere, just all that's in your brain, just you can't think straight. You can't remember nothing. It's all that cloudy function. While you trying to function, it's all this crazy up in there, right? Just pollution. You want to breathe, right? You want to get some fresh, oxygen in there. You want to get some fresh air in there. You want to cleanse it all out. Think about water. When it's dirty, right? All this dirty stuff is in there, it's cloudy. Just run the water. Open the drain. Run the water. What's going to happen? Eventually, all that dirt, all that toxicity, all that gook, right? Eventually the water's going to get clear, isn't it? Yeah, everything's going to go down the drain. So I want you to mentally picture yourself. All this toxicity, in there, all of the junk. And I want you to breathe in the fresh. Breathe it in. Picture it. As you are breathing out, all that toxicity is leaving out. Yeah, it won't work the first time. You got to do it again. Breathing in the fresh. Hold that thing. Imagine it scrubbing. Oh. And then you let it out, right? You can breathe in 3 to 4 times. Do 5 rounds of it. Takes a minute. Sometimes I would be at work, especially when the panic attacks and stuff like that. You feel your anxiety working. This works really well. If you suffer with anxiety, if you suffer with panic attacks, you have to get there and mentally visualize that negative, whatever it is that you're amping yourself. If anybody is around me anytime something crazy is going, you'll hear me saying that out loud. That is me. I'm mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. I'm not allowing this negative. I could be listening to somebody talk. I'll shut you off at no, ma'am. No. I was at my nephew memorial, sir. Some inappropriateness walked up. Ma'am. I ain't even had no words. I ain't even say no word. Don't even let it in. Don't even let it in. Sometimes, I mean, I'm joking for real, but sometimes I'm serious. Sometimes you have to, hey. It's peace and love over here. I got enough negative crap going on. I can do for myself. I don't need your extra. I'm not taking that in. I'm not taking it in. So you got to be something, because some people in negativity just they flow together. They like best friends. They hang out, right? They hang out. So sometimes you got to find a way to not even allow the negative and the crazy to come in. So yeah, we're breathing and releasing, honey. We're breathing and releasing. Guess what, y'all? Since the last time I seen you, girls. Since the last time I seen you, fellas, guess what? Your girlfriend done had a birthday. Yes, honey. 46 years around the sun. My friend was like, how old are you? You know, I'm not supposed to. I know men are not supposed to ask you how old you are, Chris. He called me on my birthday. He said, I know I'm not supposed to ask you, but baby, I ain't sure. 46. Yeah. 46 years around the sun, honey. Around the earth, around the sun, around the days, whatever you want to call it. Chapter 46 has begun. I don't know what it is. From Saturday night to Sunday, I feel wiser. You know, as things come up, as my birthday is coming, I don't know about y'all, but as the birthdays are coming, I just around April, because my daughter's birthday is in April, and I start feeling real nostalgic, and I get really emotional, and I start thinking about my life, because I always go back to how I was feeling at that time. You know, when my daughter was born, I was a teenager, a senior in high school. It was very emotional. I was very afraid, you know, but I was just like, you know, grateful. I was having a healthy, happy little baby. And I was just, you know, and I was very much in love, you know, and all that array of emotion, and grateful, you know, that her father was support. And I mean, her father was so supportive and so sweet that he got morning sickness. I didn't get morning sickness when I was pregnant. He got morning sickness. And so I'm grateful for that. Even though things didn't work out, even though he's not perfect, he got his little stuff with him. Don't we all, right? Everybody got something. Everybody has something. Making a conscious decision to look at stuff from the positive is what being very intentional is what we're doing. And so it's your girl, Michelle D.I. Miss Divine Intervention, honey, because there are no coincidences in this world, only God's divine intervention in our lives. And community builder, why? Because, baby, that's who I am. I'm out here building the community, trying to get you some good information, stuff that will help you, honey, stuff that will have you thinking very intentionally just to get you out of the negative into some positive, honey. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. That is my purpose. And so it is Mental Health Awareness Month. And one of the things that I am very passionate about is mental health, honey, and knowing your mental status and knowing where you're at. Because, baby, for 2 years I walked. I didn't know it was that bad. Like I didn't know it was that bad. Like you hear people being depressed. You hear, and I don't know about you, but when I think of depressed people, I think of just these were just walking around sad all the time, like just people just crying and sad. Like it's this perception, right? There's a myth that we have, like, oh, you just got to be walking around, all the time, just crying. That's what I think of when I think of depression. But guess what, babe? I was walking around still smiling, laughing. When I was out, I was doing all that. Guess what? When I took that official depression score, 22. I was at a 22. Yeah, because what we doing out here in these streets? We front. Like everything is fine. We dealing with unprocessed trauma. Stuff that's happened to us from our childhood. What we doing? We just carrying it around. The name of my book is called What's in the Pit of Your Belly, honey. I did a a podcast, not a podcast, but a workshop on it. What's in the pit of your belly? Because where are we carrying around most of the guilt, the shame, the unprocessed trauma, the stuff that's happened to us from childhood, the decisions that we made in our lives that we may not just, I'm feeling some kind of way about. Where are we carrying it? It's weight. It's weight. It shows up as physical weight. Where's most of your weight? In your belly. Yeah, you can walk around, and the smallest person, what they have, a little pouch, they carrying some weight around. Physical and emotional weight, honey, shows up in your belly. Yeah. And if you really want to start talking about it, which we will be talking about it, honey, that emotional, the way them emotions show up in your body is inflammation. That's another conversation. We'll talk about that another day. But let me tell y'all something. Your girl is 46. Your girl is 46. What are some things that I have learned and I have taken with me, and just some things that I'm grateful for? Number one, my birthday was on Mother's Day. And so the number one thing that I'm grateful for, y'all, is my mom. Yes, the number one thing I'm grateful for is my mama. Because what? She brought me in this world. You only get one, yeah. I always love my mama. She's my favorite girl. Yes, I need my mama, because guess what? I know you're like, what about your daddy? I'm grateful for my daddy. I'm going to give him his shine too. I give my dad his shine too, but let me tell you something. I know what our daddy I do, because you need both of them, right? You need them to connect. You need the both. Okay. But mama did them 9 months, honey. Mama carried them 9 months. My mama put a vision. She said some prayers while I was in her belly, right? She gave me purpose. God answered her prayers while I was in her belly. My mom prayed. My mom prayed, she said, when she was pregnant with me. She told me that when she found out she was having a girl, and she prayed that I would be opposite of her and that I would use my voice. And I have done that from being such a small girl. I have always, my brother being bullied, my big brother being bullied on elementary school playgrounds, honey, I can remember. You better leave my very little. I understood what was right was right, what was wrong was wrong. Very little. And so it's amazing how that those things show up, the things that we pray for. Another thing that I'm very grateful for is that both of my parents are still living, and I feel like even though there have been things that have happened, throughout these 46 years, there have been things on both sides that I feel like, I didn't like. I didn't like. I could focus on the negative things that has happened on both sides, or I can choose to focus on the positive things. And that's what I'm doing. I'm choosing to focus on the positive things, because what I know for sure is how the negativity shows up in your body. Again, those emotions. And for me, it shows up terribly. Stress and cortisol levels, guys, those are all like the silent killers for us. African Americans, anybody, when you think of anger, when you think of holding stress, when you think of, the anxiety, the emotions, like all of the things, being sad all the time, the depression, the way that it is housed in your body, right? Because we're holding all these things in and all these emotions, the way that it's housed in your body, the way that it shows up, you're killing yourself slowly. Stress is the number one killer. It's taken over, the number one silent killer, it's taken over the realm of high blood pressure. High blood pressure used to be the number one silent killer. Now it's stress. And then you add, when you're stressing, you're causing cortisol levels. Those are those natural hormones in your body. You're causing an increase in cortisol levels. That's not what you want. You are killing yourself slowly, right? You're killing yourself slowly. And so my purpose is to release. It's to help those people to figure out, what are some things that are holding me back? What are some things that I have been holding in? What are some things that bother me that I haven't talked about? What are some things I don't even know that's there? Because like I said, y'all, I was 22 on the depression scale, walking around, helping, going and doing and being is what I call it. Going and doing and being. And killing myself slowly. I'm going to show pictures as we talk this month. This is Faith Walk. As we talk this month, for the rest of the month, I'm going to show you some pictures of me just last year, and how anger and how stress showed up in my body. It was bad. It was bad. Your girl had lost some weight and gained it all back. It was bad. We're going to talk about it. But today we are continuing our journey and our talk on finances. There are certain things that affect our mental health that we don't even recognize as it's affecting us. It is your finances. It's probably one of the number one things. A lot of people commit suicide over finances. They get very overwhelmed. There's a lot of divorce that happens because of finances. I know me and my ex-husband, we didn't fight, but when we did fuss and fight about stuff, it was the money, the lack thereof, rather, ends up in divorce. over 50% of marriages divorce because of finances. Yeah, the numbers are ridiculous. Another thing that affects our mental health is our relationships. The relationships that you might be in, your significant other. If things you're not communicating the way that you could, if you are over communicating, right? If you are not communicating at all, not communicating enough, like I told her that, but did you really tell her the whole story? Did you? Did you really explain it? Like, did she understand what you said when you said it? Oh, okay. Did you talk to him? Did you tell him how he was feeling? No, it don't matter because he going communication. Very vital point. We assume a lot, right? We assume a lot. It affects your mental health. Um, your situationships, honey. Have you been in some situations? Have you found yourself in some situations that affect your mental health? Last year, before I moved here, I had to stay in a hotel for like a month. I was in a situation. I had to stay in a hotel for a month. And for a minute, I remember thinking, oh my God, I'm homeless. Like I don't have. But at the same time, as I was thinking I'm homeless, as it came, it went. Because I said, no, we're not doing that. Because I don't have a physical what is thought of as the normal, right? The quote unquote normal home. No, I had a roof over my head, right? My child, my cat, we were all together. We made the best of it. It was fine. But I literally, like every day or so, every couple days, had to say, hey, this is not your forever. Your apartment is getting ready. It's just not ready, but it's coming. It's fine. You're okay. Like, what situations have you found yourself in where you could talk yourself into the negative, to the crazy, into that dark place? Just, I shouldn't be in this. I'm too old for this. I should be this by now. Situationships, okay. Then you have the unforgiveness. Unforgiveness plays a role. Forgiveness, unforgiveness, lack of forgiveness. Honey, just holding people hostage to stuff that happened in your childhood. It's forgiveness of yourself, which I feel like is the most important thing that you can do. Most important thing that you can do. Forgiveness of yourself for decisions that you've made that you may not be so proud of, for being in relationships longer than you were. My last relationship, my daughter's father, I was in that relationship for 4 years. There were so many signs, there were so many signs at the beginning, and to be completely honest, I mean, on the front side, in my mind, I was thinking this is not going to work. But I'm a jumper. And I jumped anyway, right? And I'm not even I'm not even upset or like, I was supposed to jump because my baby girl was supposed to be here. That girl is a gift from God. So she was supposed to be here. But staying in relationship longer than what you're supposed to, staying in situationships as longer than it can mess with you, right? It can mess with you. And so forgiveness of yourself for the decisions that you've made. And you had a reason, right? Give yourself some grace. You had a reason. And if you're in a situation, or if you're in a relationship, or you're in something where you're feeling like, guess what? As long as you're still on this side of heaven, boo, you got time. You had time to do something about it. So do something about it, right? Forgiveness of others is, I think, is the most important thing too. Forgiveness of yourself is up there. Forgiveness of others is right underneath of it, because, honey, you sitting up mad and upset with somebody, it's like you watching somebody else. You looking, you mad. Right? And you drinking. You drinking the poison, babe. You looking at them and you mad, but you drinking the poison every day. You killing yourself slowly. Because again, excuse me, them negative emotions inside of you, killing you slowly. You know what they are? It's cancer. Shows up as cancer. Shows up as diabetes. It shows up as high blood pressure. Yeah, yeah. It shows up as your liver failing because you done drank yourself to, yeah. Yeah. Shows up as heart disease because you done, oh, my smokers out there like, smoking is not bad for you. Honey, I'm doing the weed smoke like this, but I'm talking about all kinds of smoking. I just like how they look. I'm talking about all kinds of smoking. Smoking crack, smoking the pipe, smoking cigarettes, like all of the smoking. Smoking. Yeah. No judgment, honey. I'm just telling you, you're killing yourself softly. Softly. Killing yourself slowly. That's my song. Killing yourself slowly. So this is part of the reason. This is why we're here. This is why I'm here. Because for me, I feel like you don't even think of the things that we're doing to ourselves. We don't process things the way that they should be processed. We don't understand, like, what? That what you say that do? What? What happened? What it do? What happened? That was me. That was me. That was me. Taking interventions, giving interventions, all of the stuff. So, fam, I am going to continue on this journey. We are reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad. We are dealing with our finances right now. Mr. Robert Kiyosaki, because he said, you know, the middle class, which is most of my audience and my general population, are middle class Americans. But we welcome everybody. But I'm just saying, Mr. Robert Kiyosaki said, we got it all wrong. We looking at life, we looking at it all wrong. The stuff that we're worried about, honey, the rich people ain't worried about that stuff. They're not processing it like we process it. How we are taught, they don't think about it like we think about it. He said one of the number one things is lesson 1. He has 6 lessons in here, y'all. Lesson number 1 was the rich don't work for money. They let the money work for them. How many of us are out there working ourselves in the hole, finding a job, you know, work the job for 40 years, and then waiting on retirement, waiting to go on vacation, waiting to live, considering an honor to work for another company. They're creating the companies. So when I say to you, you know, my purpose is to inspire people to purpose, to get all of the negative, unprocessed trauma, the subconscious things that are holding you hostage. I don't know what's going on with my head today, y'all. To get all the unprocessed trauma, all of those things that are holding you hostage, to get that off of you so that you can get to purpose. Because when you walk in your purpose, you inspire other people to walk in their purpose, right? If I'm walking in my purpose, I'm inspiring somebody else to walk in their purpose. When I'm looking at people on TV, guess what? They're inspiring me to do something great within me, right? My dream is that while you're watching me, I'm inspiring you to do something, that you hear something, that you see something that like, yep, let me go do that. Oh man, I've been thinking about that. Let me stop thinking about it and let me do it. What action steps do I need to take? A Rich Dad, Poor Dad, he says the rich don't work for money. So I'm asking you, what dream do you have inside of you? How long are you going to work that job? How long? And I'm not telling you go out and quit your job, but I'm saying, what's your backup plan? What do you have? If something happens, if you get injured or what have you, what are you going to do? Because a lot of us only rely on one source and one income. Can you work that job while you're building your own business? While you're doing something that you're passionate about, something that's going to create some happy, good endorphins on you, help your mental health, make you happy, bring you joy? Can you bake them cakes? Can you cook that food? What can you do? Like, a lot of people are gifted with their hands. I got a girlfriend, I mean, she gives the best massages, honey. Oh my gosh. And when your girl gets stressed out, I'll be all knot. I used to have knots in my back. I used to be so stressed. Honey, she would work them knots out. Oh my gosh, she's a blessing. What do you have inside of you? Gifted hands. The rich don't work for money. What you playing, boo? Number 2. Chapter 2 was why teach financial literacy. They were 9 years old at a school, the only 2 quote unquote poor kids in the school with all rich kids. And so if you don't know that there's a game playing, how you going to play the game? You don't even know the game exists. That's what financial literacy is. It is teaching you about things that you don't even know. You don't even know. There's not as if people are not hardworking people or you don't deserve or whatever else. But if you don't even know, and then you trying to play the game and you don't even know the rules, nobody has taught you the rules of the game. That's what financial literacy is. That is why it's important. When I was younger, I used to think, that this is boring. Like, why would I want to know about stocks and bonds and the stock market? And oh my God, it just seemed so overwhelming. It just seemed like so much. Oh, that's not even for me. I thought, I was very irritated being, 17 years old, walking in, and the class was looking at, I had moved to White House. I was out of the city then, moved from Baltimore to Texas. And I walked in the class and they were reading the newspaper. And I was like, a newspaper's for old people. Why they reading the newspaper? I didn't know in my little inner city mind, right? I didn't know that was something that I needed later on for life. Somebody would say, you need to pay attention to this because it's important. This is important for your future. This will set up, your kids, your children's children. This will help you create. This will help you create generational wealth. It was over my head. Okay. Chapter 3 was mind your own business. Mind your own business. It is while you are working and driving yourself in the hole for everybody else. What business are you creating? What businesses can you create? The most important thing that I will process, if I don't remember nothing else in this book, I am going to process. And this is again a shift in mindset. I'm going to process that the way that he says the middle class looks at assets and liabilities. Assets are anything that are bringing money into your pocket. Liabilities are anything that are taking money away. And so he said the middle class is taught to think of their house as a liability, that they bought a house. And for us, that is huge. To buy a house is a big, tremendous deal. And he's not saying that it isn't, right? But what he is saying is that, is it an asset? Is your house an asset or is it a liability? What did you sign up for? Did you sign up for a 30-year mortgage? Because, of course, the payments are cheaper, right? And so that's the first thing that we think about is how cheap can we get it? We don't think about the interest that it's going to cost us. We don't think about, right, how much we're cooking out in the long run. We don't think about how that money could have been spent better with something else. And so shifting your mindset to, how can I purchase land? How can I purchase property, right? How can I purchase, a laundromat business, a car wash a business, you know what I mean? Something that is going to bring you money that will help you pay your home off so that you don't have to pay that interest for 30 years and maybe you pay it off in 10 or maybe you pay it off in 15. Like, what is your plan? I remember thinking, and I mean, this is just how we were raised, right? My dad said his house only cost $50,000. My dad just paid his house off some years ago. Like, I was an adult, and I'm thinking, my dad made as much money as my dad made. Why would he wait to pay off? Because he was talking about, he was getting ready to pay his house off. He was making that last payment, and I thought, granted, it's a huge accomplishment, right? But I just thought about how much more if his house only cost $50,000. He probably paid $150,000 because he waited, right? All of this long time. It's like we don't even think about that. Even when you're buying a car, same thing, right? Same thing. And so it is getting us stuck out of this mentality. It is getting us to the point where our finances are not controlling us, but we are controlling our finances because, again, all of these things affect your mental health. And if you're still on this side of heaven, then guess what? There's still time to get it right. You're not too old. The rich, they lose their money, they regain it again, they lose it again, and they regain it again. Because they don't have the mindset of I'm poor, even when they don't have any money. The mindset is I'm broke. Poor is a mindset. Broke is I can get more. This is my situation right now. But I know for sure this ain't going to be my situation always. For me, that's faith. You can say it or call it whatever you want. But for me, that's faith. And that's how it entails into this faith walk. It is knowing that no matter what my finances look like right now, because right now, right now, right now, but I'm still on this side of heaven. I still have an option. I still have goals and dreams and things that I want to do. Guess what? That requires money. So what do I have to do? The faith walk is not waiting, sitting and waiting for God, like, okay, God, you exist. Come on, let's make this happen. Boom, bada, bing. Your girl got dreams. I got goals. I got stuff I need to do. I promise it'll be positive. What you doing? And even though it will be, right? And even though it is, I still have to do my part. And I'm going to believe that God is going to do his part. While I'm doing my part, I'm taking one step. I know he's taking two. That is that Inky Johnson on that video that I posted this morning. That is the Inky, honey. How are you expecting? How you just expecting stuff and you know you ain't done no work? You ain't doing what you're supposed to be doing. How you sitting up there like just sitting, just mad about stuff, looking at somebody else do and go and be mad at them and you ain't done nothing, but you expecting to have the same thing? Okay, I'm talking to somebody. I'm talking to somebody. I don't know who it is, but I'm talking to somebody. Somebody felt that thing, okay? Mm-hmm. All right. We're going to jump right in real quick to lesson 4. It is the history of taxes and the power of corporations. This is lesson 4, chapter 4, lesson 4. He said, my rich dad just played the game smart, and he did it through corporations, the biggest secrets of the rich. Let's get into it. I remember in school being told the story of Robin Hood and his merry men. My teacher thought it was a wonderful story of a romantic hero who robbed from the rich and gave to the poor. My rich dad did not see Robin Hood as a hero. He called Robin Hood a crook. Robin Hood may be long gone, but his followers live on. I often still hear people say, why don't the rich pay for it? Or the rich should pay more in taxes and give it to the poor. It is this Robin Hood fantasy, or taking from rich to give to the poor, that has caused the most pain for the poor and the middle class. The reason the middle class is so heavily taxed is because of the Robin Hood ideal. The reality is that the rich are not taxed. It is the middle class, especially the educated upper income middle class, who pays for the poor. Again, to understand fully how things happen, we need to look at the history of taxes. Although my highly educated dad was an expert on the history of education, my rich dad fashioned himself as an expert on the history of taxes. Rich Dad explained to Mike and me that originally in England and America, there were no taxes. Occasionally, there were temporary taxes levied in order to pay for wars. The king or the president would put the word out and ask everyone to chip in. Taxes was levied in Britain for the fight against Napoleon from 1979 to 1816, and in America to pay for the Civil War from 1861 to 1865. In 1875, England made income tax a permanent levy on its citizens. And in 1913, an income tax became permanent in the United States with the adoption of the 16th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. At one time, Americans were anti-tax. It had been the tax on tea that led to the famous Tea Party in Boston Harbor, an incident that helped ignite the Revolutionary War. It took approximately 50 years in both England and the United States to sell the idea of a regular income tax. What these historical dates fail to reveal is both of these taxes were initially levied against only the rich. It was this point that Rich Dad wanted Mike and me to understand. He explained that the idea of taxes was made popular and accepted by the majority by telling the poor and the middle class that taxes were created only to punish the rich. This is how the masses voted the law, and it became constitutionally legal. Although it was intended to punish the rich, in reality, it wound up punishing the very people who voted for it, the poor and the middle class. Does that sound like the government today? Like saying one thing, doing another? I don't know. That sounds like the Republican Party. Let me stay focused. Okay. Once government got a taste of money, its appetite grew, said Rich Dad. Your dad and I are exactly opposite. He's a government bureaucrat, and I am a capitalist. We get paid, and our success is measured on opposite behaviors. He gets paid to spend money and hire people. The more he spends, the more people he hires, the larger his organization becomes. In the government, a large organization is a respected organization. On the other hand, within my organization, the fewer people I hire, the less money I spend, and the more I am respected by my investors. That's why I don't like government people. They have different objectives than most business people. As the government grows, more and more tax dollars are needed to support it. My educated dad sincerely believed that the government should help people. He loved John F. Kennedy and especially the idea of the Peace Corps. He loved the idea so much that both he and my mom worked for the Peace Corps, training volunteers to go to Malaysia, Thailand, and the Philippines. He always strived for additional grants and budget increases so he could hire more people, both in his jobs with the education department and in the Peace Corps. From the time I was about 10 years old, I would hear from my rich dad that government workers were a pack of lazy thieves. And from my poor dad, I would hear how the rich were greedy crooks who should be made to pay more taxes. Both sides had valid points. It was difficult to go to work for one of the biggest capitalists. It was difficult to go to work for one of the biggest capitalists in town and come home to a father who was a prominent government leader. It was not easy to know which dad to believe. Yet, when you study the history of taxes, an interesting perspective emerges. As I said, the passage of taxes was only possible because the masses believed in the Robin Hood theory of economics. Take from the rich and give to everyone else. The problem with I'm sorry, I'm struggling. And I don't have my little, let me get a little, I need a little guide or something to help me with these lines. Your girl 46 is my eyes. What's going on with my eyes? My mama wear glasses and my daddy wear glasses. I might be in trouble, y'all. Let me see. Hang on, wait a minute. I'm like, let me get these lines together. Okay. As I said, the passage of taxes was only possible because the masses believed in the Robin Hood theory of economics. Take from the rich and give to everyone else. The problem was that the government's appetite for money was so great that taxes soon needed to be levied on the middle class. And from there, it kept trickling down. However, the rich saw an opportunity because they don't play by the same rules. The rich knew about corporations, which became popular in the days of sailing ships. The rich created the corporation as a vehicle to limit their risk to the assets of each voyage. The rich put their money into a corporation to finance a voyage. The corporation would then hire a crew to sail to New England to look for treasure. If the ship was lost, the crew lost their lives. But the loss of the rich would be limited only to the money they invested for a particular voyage. This hair is out of control. Okay. The diagram that follows shows how the corporate structure sits outside your personal income statement and balance sheet. It is the knowledge of the legal corporate structure that really gives the rich a vast advantage over the poor and middle class. Having two fathers teaching me, one a socialist and one in the other a capitalist, I quickly began to realize that the philosophy of the capitalists made more financial sense to me. It seemed to me that the socialists ultimately penalized themselves due to their lack of financial education. No matter what the take from the rich crowd came up with, the rich always found a way to outsmart them. That is how taxes were eventually levied on the middle class. The rich outsmarted the intellectuals solely because they understood the power of money. A subject, again, not taught in schools. How did the rich outsmart the intellectuals? Once the take from the rich tax was passed, cash started flowing into the government coffers. Initially, people were happy. Money was handed out to government workers and the rich. It went to government workers in the form of jobs and pensions, and it went to the rich via their factories receiving government contracts. The government received a large pool of money, but the problem was the fiscal management of that money, meaning they just were spending. The government idea is to avoid having excess money. If you fail to spend your allotted funds, you risk losing it in the next budget. You will certainly not be recognized for being efficient. So, business people, on the other hand, are rewarded for having excess money and applauded for their efficiency. As this cycle of growing government spending continued, the demand for money increased, and the tax the rich idea was adjusted to include lower income levels, down to the very people who voted it in, the poor and middle class. True capitalists use their financial knowledge to simply find an escape. They headed back to the protection of a corporation. But what many people who have never formed a corporation don't know is that a corporation is not really a thing. A corporation is merely a file folder with some legal documents in it, sitting in some attorney's office and registered with state government agencies. It is not a big building or factory or group of people. A corporation is merely a legal document that creates a legal body without a soul. Let me say that again. A corporation is merely a legal document that creates a legal body without a soul. Using it, the wealth of the rich was once again protected. It was popular because the income tax of corporations is less than the individual income tax rates. In addition, certain expenses could be paid by a corporation with pre-tax dollars. Hey, Maisha. Girl, this is interesting. This war between the have and the have-nots has raged for hundreds of years. The battle is waged whenever and wherever laws are made, and it will go on forever. The problem is that the people who lose are uninformed. The ones who get up every day and diligently go and work and pay taxes. If they only understood the way the rich play the game, they could play it too. That's the purpose. That's this purpose. We want to play the game too. We want to play. We like to play. Don't we like to play? You like to play. I like to play. I want to play the game. That's where I'm at. I want to play the game too. I want to play. Then they would be on their way to their own financial independence. That's where we're going, easing on down the road to financial independence. That's where we want to go to. We want to go. This is why I cringe every time I hear a parent advise their children to go to school so they can find a safe, secure job. An employee with a safe, secure job without financial aptitude has no escape. Average Americans today work 4 to 5 months for the government just to cover their taxes. In my opinion, that is simply too long. The harder you work, the more you pay the government. That is why I believe that the idea of take from the rich backfired on the very people who voted it in. Every time people try, I got so much stuff on my thing. Every time people try to punish the rich don't simply comply. They react. They have money, power, and intent to change things. They don't just sit there and voluntarily pay more taxes. Instead, they search for ways to minimize their tax burden. They hire smart attorneys and accountants and persuade politicians to change laws or create legal loopholes. They use their resources to affect change. The tax code of the United States also um, allows other ways to reduce. I'm sorry, I'm so itchy. I feel like I have so much going on. Always allows others to reduce taxes. Most of these vehicles are available to anyone. Let me say that again. The tax code of the United States also allows other ways to reduce taxes. Most of these vehicles are available to everyone, anyone. Who does that? That means you. That means me. It's available. But it is the rich who finds them because they are minding their own business. And minding their own business means just that, their physical business. What purpose do you have in you? What business can you create? What gift do you have? What corporation can you be building? This thing just hit me all the way. This just hit me all the way down in my spirit. Okay. For example, 1031 is a jargon for Section 1031 of the Internal Revenue Code, which allows a seller to delay paying taxes on a piece of real estate that is sold for capital gain through an exchange for a more expensive piece of real estate. Real estate is one investment vehicle that has a great tax advantage. As long as you keep trading up in value, you will not be taxed on the gains until you liquidate. People who don't take advantage of these legal tax savings are missing a great opportunity to build their asset column. What does that mean? It means instead of paying off, you just get more, honey. Get a bigger property. Get a better property. You're building. You're creating. You're building more assets. You're building more wealth, right? Start where you can start, and then you build. The poor and the middle class don't have the same resources. They sit there and let the government's needles enter their arm and allow the blood donation to begin. Today, I am constantly shocked at the number of people who pay more taxes or take fewer deductions simply because they are afraid of the government. I have friends who have had their businesses shut down and destroyed only to find out it was a mistake on the part of the government. I realize all of that. But the price of working from January to May is a high price to pay for that intimidation. My poor dad never fought back. My rich dad didn't either. He just played the game smarter. And he did it through corporations, the biggest secret of the rich. You may remember the first lesson I learned from my rich dad. I was a little boy of 9 who had to sit and wait for him to choose to talk to me. I sat in his office waiting for him to get to me. He was ignoring me on purpose. He wanted me to recognize his power and to desire to have that power for myself one day. During all the years I studied and learned from him, he always reminded me that knowledge is power. And with money comes great power that requires the right knowledge to keep it and make it multiply. Without that knowledge, the world pushes you around. Rich Dad constantly reminded Mike and me that the biggest bully was not the boss or the supervisor, but the tax man. The tax man will always take more if you let him. The first lesson of having money work for you, as opposed to you working for the money, is all about power. If you work for money, you give the power to your employer. If money works for you, you keep the power and control it. Once he had this knowledge of power of money working for us, once we had this knowledge of power of money working for us, I don't know if it's because I'm live. I've never itched and scratched so much in my life. This is so funny. I'm sorry. Once we had this knowledge of power of money working for us, he wanted us to be financially smart and not let anyone or anything push us around. If you're ignorant, it's easy to be bullied. If you know what you're talking about, you have a fighting chance. That is why he paid so much for smart tax accountants and attorneys. It was less expensive to pay for them than to pay the government. His best lesson to me was be smart and you won't be pushed around as much. He knew the law because he was a law abiding citizen and because it was expensive to not know the law. If you know you're right, you're not afraid to fight back. Even if you're taking on Robin Hood and his band of merry men. Wow. I'm just thinking about that from the context of everything, right? Even in your life, in your job, like situations, think of being at work and how many, everything's itching. Think about being at work and how many situations, like how many times have you been where you felt defeated before you even decided to go to a manager or go to whoever? You just allow different situations to happen. But think about even at home, like with your parents or with your children, when you know you right about something or you went up and got some information, some good information, you ready for the fight. You know you prepared. Oh, I wish they would say something. Oh, okay, I'm ready this time. Oh yeah, but what about oh yeah, you think I don't know, but okay. Right? I've been in plenty of situations like that in my adult life as a manager, as a young manager, wanting to, get more money and fight for things. You have to be able to communicate the needs of your employees, like like the nurses and the MAs that I was fighting for, right? I fought for it to get more help. I fought for it to hire more people. Like I set up when they told me they didn't have the money. You know what I did? I put together a whole PowerPoint presentation on nurse burnout and educated them on the amount of money that it would cost them and the amount of money that they would save. Right? It's not about knowledge is power, y'all. Knowledge is power. Knowing the rules of the game. My VP at the time, my good friend Justina, she used to tell me, she said, Michelle, you're so passionate about things and people are not going to listen to, all that, because I would write these long emails. You can't write these. You can't write these. Ain't nobody reading all that. You have to say what you want to say right here at this top line. You got one line. I was like, what? Sum it up. But I had to, you got to know the rules. She said, now, if you want to say whatever else you want to say, that's fine. You can put that down here. They're probably not going to read it, but you know that it's there. And you can always go back and reference. I sent you an email on this date, and this is what it said. It's not on me that they didn't read it. But put the most important thing on that top line that you really want them to know. Because a lot of times you finish with the thing because you done got all your thought out, right? And you will finish with the thing. But no. Take and put the most important thing up at the top. Let that be your top line. And then you flow and say whatever you need to say. You got to know the rules of the game. You got to know the rules. You got to know how to get things done. So then you're not looking like the quote unquote angry black girl. Justina taught me the rules. Middle-aged white woman taught me the rules, and I love her for it. because it's stuff that I will never forget, and it is carried on. You know what I mean? It's carried on. I have big things I'll call in to ask her, because she knows the rules of the game. She knows she's privy to rooms and things that I haven't been in. What am I saying? I'm saying if you don't know, then you surround yourself with the people that do know. You got to think outside the box. You want to play the game, baby. But you can't make your own rules up. And sometimes you can. I'm just saying it depends on you can be like Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry said, you know what? The rules of Hollywood was not working for him. So you know what he did? He created his own lane. And that's beautiful. But guess what? He had to get to a point where he could do that. When Tyler Perry was in that first time when he was making a play and only his family showed up, guess what? He couldn't make no rules in that lane. He couldn't make his own lane back then. He had to get to a point. So what am I saying? What's your plan, babe? What's your plan? Don't let this mental health stuff get you to where, oh man, I ain't never going to, or it doesn't matter. What I say? The definition of insanity is doing the same things over and over and over again and expecting a different result. If you continue to think the same way that you've been thinking, you're going to continue to get the same things that you've been getting. Step outside the box, babe. You don't belong in a box. You're too big for the box, right? Think of something different. How else can you do it? What else can you do? What can you do in the meantime to get you to that goal? I know you're trying to get over there, but you got to do this first. So yeah, I don't want to go to work every day, but in order for me to get what I need to get down here, I got to go to work because I need this paycheck, because I need this money to stack this money. But then I can invest this money into this over here. And then I can go over here and get, what is your plan? Y'all see my arm? I'm working on it. What's the plan for this fat right here? I'm working on it. Because let me tell you something. Your girl has got to, look, I can't have these arms like this in a dress because I'm planning to be on somebody's red carpet, a bunch of red carpets. I could go like this. If they call me tomorrow, I'm going to go just like this. But if they give me a little bit, I'm going to work. I got a plan together. You know what this is from too? It's from me eating mozzarella sticks and pizza and stress eating. And, you know, I'm an emotional eater. We'll talk about that later. But the other part that it's from is when I was fasting. When you fast, you lose weight, but you burn muscle too. And so I have to work harder, because even when I'm smaller, it may not be this big, but it's still like this. Okay, I got sidetracked. I'm just saying, it's all about a plan. This girl ain't ashamed about nothing. Do you hear me? It's all working together. It's all working together, honey. You got the Romans 8:28, everything. It's all working together. I promise you it is. It's all working together. Okay, where was I at? So crazy. I'm so crazy. In my Tabitha Brown voice, I can, because it's my business. And it's my show. I can do what I want to do. I can do what I want to do. So here we go. Let me see. My highly educated dad always encouraged me to land a good job with a strong corporation. He spoke of the virtues of working your way up the corporate ladder. He didn't understand that by relying solely on a paycheck from a corporate employer, I would be a docile cow ready for milking. When I told my rich dad of my father's advice, he only chuckled. Why not own the ladder, was all he said. As a young boy, I did not understand what Rich Dad meant by owning my own corporation. It was an idea that seemed impossible and intimidating. Although I was excited about the idea, my inexperience wouldn't let me envision the possibility that grown-ups would someday work for a company I would own. The point is that if not for my rich dad, I would have probably followed my educated dad's advice. It was merely the occasional reminder of my rich dad that kept the idea of owning my own corporation alive and kept me on a different path. By the time I was 15 or 16, I knew I wasn't going to continue down the path my educated dad recommended. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I was determined not to head in the direction most of my classmates were heading. That decision changed my life. It was not until my mid 20s that my rich dad's advice began to make more sense to me. I was just out of the Marine Corps and working for Xerox. I was making a lot of money, but every time I looked at my paycheck, I was disappointed. The deductions were so large and the more I worked, the greater they became. As I became more successful, my bosses talked about promotions and raises. It was flattering, but I could hear my rich dad asking in my ear, "Who are you working for? And who are you making rich?" In 1974, while still an employee for Xerox, I formed my first corporation and began minding my own business. There were already a few assets in my asset column, but now I was determined to focus on making it bigger. Those paychecks with all the deductions made all the years of my rich dad's advice make total sense. I could see the future if I followed my educated dad's advice. Many employers feel that advising their workers to mind their own business is bad for business. But for me, focusing on my own business and developing assets made me a better employee because I now had a purpose. I came in early and worked diligently, amassing as much money as possible so I could invest in real estate. Hawaii was just set to boom, and there were fortunes to be made. The more I realized, the more I realized that we were in the beginning stages of a boom, the more Xerox machines I sold. The more I sold, the more money I made, and of course, the more deductions came out of my paycheck. It was inspiring. I wanted I wanted out of the employee trap so badly that I worked even harder so I could invest more. By 1978, I was consistently one of the top 5 salespeople at the company. I badly wanted out of the rat race. In less than 3 years, I was making more in my real estate holding corporation than I was making at Xerox. And the money I was making in my asset column in my own corporation was money working for me, not me pounding on doors selling copiers. My rich dad's advice made much more sense. Soon, the cash flow from my properties was so strong that my company brought me my first Porsche. My fellow Xerox salespeople thought I was spending my commissions. I wasn't. I was investing my commissions in assets. My money was working hard to make more money. Each dollar in my asset column was a great employee, working hard to make more employees and buy the boss a new Porsche with before tax dollars. I began to work harder for Xerox. The plan was working, and my Porsche was the proof. By using the lessons I learned from my rich dad, I was able to get out of the proverbial rat race at an early age. It was made possible because of the strong financial knowledge I had acquired through Rich Dad's lessons. Without this financial knowledge, which I call financial intelligence or financial IQ, my road to financial independence would have been much more difficult. I now teach others in the hope that I may share my knowledge with them. I remind people that financial IQ is made up of knowledge from 4 broad areas of expertise. Number 1, accounting. Accounting is financial literacy, or the ability to read numbers. There is a vital skill if you want to build an empire. This is a vital skill if you want to build an empire. The more money you are responsible for, the more accuracy is required, or the house comes tumbling down. This is the left brain side, or the details. Financial literacy is the ability to read and understand financial statements, which allows you to identify the strengths and weaknesses of any business. Number 2, investing. Investing is the science of money making money. This involves strategies and formulas that use the creative right side of the brain. Number 3, understanding markets. Understanding markets is the science of supply and demand. You need to know the technical aspects of the market, which are emotion driven, in addition to the fundamental or economic aspects of an investment. Does any investments make sense, or does it make sense based on current market conditions? Number 4 is the law. A corporation wrapped around the technical skills of accounting, investing, and markets can contribute to explosive growth. A person who understands the tax advantages and protections provided by a corporation can get rich so much faster than someone who is an employee or a small business sole proprietor. It's like the difference between someone walking and someone flying. The difference is profound when it comes to long-term wealth. Tax advantages. A corporation can do many things that an employee cannot, like pay expenses before paying taxes. That is a whole area of expertise that is very exciting. Employees earn and get taxed, and they try to live on what is left. A corporation earns, spends everything it can, and is taxed on anything that is left. It's one of the biggest legal tax loopholes that the rich use. Let me say that again. A corporation earns, spends everything it can, and is taxed on anything that is left. It's one of the biggest legal tax loopholes that the rich use. They're easy to set up and are not expensive if you own investments that are producing good cash flow. For example, by owning your own corporation, your vacations can be board meetings in Hawaii. Car payments, insurance, repairs, and health club memberships are company expenses. Most restaurant meals are partial expenses, and on and on. But it's done legally with pre-tax dollars. Protection from lawsuits. We live in a litigious litigious. How do I want to say it? What's the word? Litigious, meaning litigation society. I'm like, I can't pronounce the word right now. Oh my God, it'll come to me right after I get off this live. Everybody wants a piece of your action. The rich hide much of their wealth using vehicles such as corporations and trusts to protect their assets from creditors. When someone sues a wealthy individual, they are often met with layers of legal protection and often find that the wealthy people actually own nothing. They control everything, but own nothing. The poor and middle class try to own everything and lose it to the government or to a fellow citizen who like to sue the rich. They've learned it from the Robin Hood story. Take from the rich and give it to the poor. It is not the purpose of this book to go into specifics of owning a corporation, but I will say, but I will say that if you own any kind of legitimate assets, I will consider finding out more about the benefits and protection offered by a corporation as soon as possible. There are many books written on the subject that will detail the benefits and even walk you through the steps necessary to set up a corporation. Gary Sutton's book on corporations provides wonderful insight into the power of personal corporations. Financial IQ is actually the synergy of many skills and talents. I would say it is the combination of the four technical skills listed above that make up basic financial intelligence. If you aspire to great wealth, it is the combination of these skills that will greatly amplify your financial intelligence. In summary, business owners with corporation: 1, earn; 2, spend; and 3, pay taxes. Employees who work for corporations: 1, earn; 2, pay taxes; 3, spend. Did y'all catch that? Business owners with corporations: number 1, they earn; number 2, they spend; and number 3, they pay taxes. Employees: middle class, lower class, me and you. We earn; number 2, pay taxes, right? And then number 3, we spend. As part of your overall financial strategy, I recommend that you learn about the protection that legal entities can provide for businesses and assets. That is the end of chapter 4, the history of taxes and the power of corporations. Guys, that's interesting. Again, thinking outside the box, right? How can you do something differently? If you want to do something different, you want to get to another level, you got to study and go where whoever is where you want to go, right? Be open. Be open to doing something different. The definition of insanity: doing the same thing over and over again. I've been saying it all week. Excuse me. I've never been so itchy. I don't know what's going on today. But we're going to keep it moving. We live, honey. We live. Look, we're live. Just keep it moving. That's all we could do. I could, go back and edit this, but nope, your girl want to be live. That's what I'm doing. So I love these lessons, though, from Mr. Robert Kawasaki. I thank him for having the mindset to share. Because again, just not even thinking about everything. I can remember when I was talking to a friend of mine's about, and I thought about, starting my business for a long time. And every time I'd be like, oh, what was that again? Because for me, I'm always doing multiple things at once. I'm a multitasker to the 10th power. How many people are multitaskers out there? I'm talking to my multitaskers. Multitaskers to the 10th power. So I'm always doing, 10, 15 things at one time. Like, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. And so what you also know about a multitasker's mind is that you feel like out of the 15 things that to get done, maybe 1 or 2 are going to get done, because it's so much going on. And we got the nerve to be perfectionists, a lot of us, right? You got the nerve to be perfectionists. So then you can't even like, oh no, because I can't do it like that. I wanted to do it, but I can't half-ass do it. So I got to let me do it like this. So the way that my mind works. So every time I started studying which type of business and the different types, right? The sole proprietor, like you said, the LLC, the S Corp, the C Corp. Like, what is the difference? I don't know. What is better? Should I do this? Should I do that? What's great for you? Blah, blah, blah. And so most people that I talked to was like, well, you should do an LLC because it protects your company. And it's all about, like he was saying, if somebody tries to sue you and take your business or take your things. So that whole thing. So I'm like, oh, okay. And most of the times that you see someone, it's an LLC. And so I would go back and then I would, like a year, 30 days, 60 days, a year would pass. I'm go back and I'm like, okay, I'm ready now. What am I doing again? Oh, what was the difference? Oh, I don't even remember. Okay, let me go back. And I go back and study. So the last time, it's procrastinator's mind too. It's in my procrastinating mind, multitasking mind. It's all of the stuff in my self-sabotaging mind, all of the stuff, right? It's all playing a role. It's not just one thing. Right. If you're not doing something, it's not just one thing. You have it in your mind to do. The unworthiness, guess what? It's playing a role. Like all of it is in there. So it's all of the stuff, right? Okay, so I'm finally, let me do this. I'm gonna make some time. So I finally watch a video. I'm YouTubing everything, right? What you don't know, you can YouTube until you can afford to teach somebody some of the stuff or take a class or whatever where you can, sit with and do some one-on-one. YouTube it. YouTube it. It's there. It's beautiful, right? So YouTube, the difference, right? And I got this video, and so I was like, you know what? Everybody's telling me to do an LLC because it would be the easiest thing to do, right? For me, and this was before I even read this, so this was just confirmation for me. I love it, but everybody was telling me to just do an LLC. Just do an LLC. It's the easiest. It's the easiest. The easiest. And for me, I've never done the easiest. I've never done what the easiest thing was. I've always thought ahead because I'm not looking at right now, right? I talked to y'all before about going to nursing school. Like I've never done the easiest. The easiest would have been to get my associates and then go back for no, you got to know yourself. Make the decisions, know yourself well enough. What's best for you. Are you going to go back? If you're planning to go back, are you that type of person that's actually going to go back and do it? I'm not. 9 times out of 10, I'm not going back and do it. If I buy something, a fruit or something bad, and those people be like, I'm taking this back to the store. I'm not that person. I'm not going back to the store. I spent so and something. I'm not going. And it's not because I think I'm too good or anything like that. It's that I don't have that kind of time. It took me something to go to the store to get it. I'm not going back. So I'm saying all that to say, know yourself, right? What works best for you. So for me, it was, I don't want to do what's easy. I want to do what's best for the long term because I'm looking at my long-term vision. What are my goals? My goals are to ultimately have, retreats and different functions and programs and businesses to make the family structure stronger, right? And so in order for me to do that, I had to start somewhere. So I'm starting with programs for women. I started, doing my podcast for women. And then I was like, I need to address some issues with men. And then things that happened. I'm like, do I need to do children too? Yeah, I would need to do children. And then it came to where I want to do it's the family unit. We need to get our families back stronger. So it is, what is your long-term goal? What do you want to do? My goal is to help make the family unit stronger. How can I do that? We have to increase communication in the families. You have to increase communication with yourself and then be able to talk to your parents, be able to talk to your significant other, and be able to communicate with your children. So I have programs and things for that. That's what I've been studying, right? We have to be able to heal, right? From the unprocessed trauma, from the things that are holding us hostage, the subconscious strongholds, those things that are holding us chained, like fear, like guilt, like shame, right? That are leading and we got to get away. We got to break free. We don't even know that we're chained. So how are you going to break free from something and you don't even know that it's there? Like, I didn't know that this chain was holding me hostage. I'm steady trying to fly, trying to figure out why can I only get this far? Why can't I go? I really want to go over there. I really want to. I'm trying to get over there. Why can't I go? Have you ever just wanted to do something like in your mind, but why I can't do it? I don't understand why I can't. Like, I really want to start that business. I really want to go back to school. I really want to. I really want to open myself up to love. I really want the subconscious strongholds. I help people to identify those things because we don't even know. We don't even know that the chain is there. Like you chained up. You don't even know you chained up. Because what we doing? Just going and being and doing. I didn't know I was chained, y'all. And so I'm like, damn, if I'm chained, there's some other people chained. Let me go back and help some people. Right? Communication, it is healing, and then it is just educating, right? And then inspiring, giving you the steps and the tools. I'm inspiring because I'm telling you, you think you're the only one. Nope, I can show you. She got it through it. He got through it. Oh man, they famous. Okay, let me give you some regular people. He got through it. She got through it. The baby got through it. You telling me it's me? Yeah. Only thing holding you back is you. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. Oh, you don't believe me? Let me show you how I was holding myself back. I didn't even. It was me. It was me. Mm-hmm. It was me. Whatever goal you want to. Yeah. You don't. Yeah. You the only one hold. Yeah. 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 Only one. It's you. I know what your mama did. Yeah. That was jacked up. Yep. I know what she did. Yeah. I know. I know. I know what your sister did. Yeah. That was. Yeah, that was yeah, I know. But still, in any situation, everything that we've gone through, any and every, as jacked up as it is, as jacked up as it was, as painful as it was, as painful as it is, because some of y'all are enduring it right now. You have a choice on how you handle every situation. You have a choice. You could wallow. Oh man, but you don't know what they did to me. Yeah. Yeah. You could wallow. You could stay in anger. But that was why I don't do nothing to nobody. Why yeah, I know. I know. Yep. And I ain't saying it ain't wrong to be angry, because honey, yeah, I've been angry. So go ahead and let that out. Go ahead and let that out, babe. When you finish though, when you finish, you're still on this side of heaven. So what does that mean? It means God has something, something for you to do. And what I believe wholeheartedly in everything in me, I believe that it is the devil's job to distract us and keep us from purpose. It is the devil's job to keep you from getting to where you are supposed to go and be in purpose. Because in purpose, you're helping somebody else get to their purpose. Somebody needs you. Somebody out there is waiting for my story. Somebody is out there waiting for your story. Somebody is out there waiting for your gifted hands. Somebody out there need their hair cut. They need their hair did. Right? Somebody out there needs you. What are you supposed to be? Are you a nurse? Are you a doctor? Are you a dentist? Like, I don't know. What are you supposed to be doing? Somebody need their teeth fixed. Look at mine. I'm getting my teeth fixed. You know why? If Dr. Wilkinson wasn't walking in purpose, honey, I'd be in trouble. I had to find somebody else. He's amazing. But he getting your girl right. Look, what I got? My Invisalign. I sure do. Yeah. Because you know what? I'm going to be in front of the camera. Smile. Lights, camera, action. I got to get ready. I want my smile to be right when I meet Oprah. When I meet Tyler P, when I'm interviewing all my famous people, I want my stuff to be right. I need Dr. Wilkinson walking in purpose. I need you walking in your purpose, honey. When I was so walking in darkness and crazy and oh my God, I don't know, in complacency and disgust with myself because I was just not being who I am called to be. I was wallowing, y'all. I was wallowing in I was wallowing. I was allowing all of the negative and the crazy in my environments. I was allowing the things around me to control me. I was allowing grief to consume me. I allowed it to take over to where I woke up and I didn't even recognize who I was. It consumed me. I was wallowing, y'all. And it's so easy to do. It's so just. I mean, you can justify it. How long though? And in the midst of your wallowing, every day is passing. Time is still ticking. The days are going on and on and on. And how do people wake up? Like this baby was just 5 yesterday and now they're 17. How do you wake up from how much time has passed and you are just being? You're not living as if that's what you were put on this earth to do, to just be. No, honey. No. Miss Katherine Jackson was not just being, she was being Michael's mother. He needed a mother, right? Will we have the great Michael Jackson if it were not for his father? He was being the father for that purpose, for Michael, for the Jacksons, for them to be, right? So it's not, I'm only a, oh no, that what, oh, I'm not. Somebody got to be in the background. Somebody got to be in the front. But everything, Romans 8:28, everything is playing a role. Everything is serving a purpose. Everything is working together. What is your purpose, honey? What are you doing? What are you supposed to be doing? How do you know? How do you know? How do you know? What are you dreaming about? You ain't been here all this long time and ain't had no dreaming to be nothing. Don't play yourself. You ain't playing me. You playing yourself. What are you dreaming about, honey? What is that thing that you're thinking about? Oh my God, every time I ride past this place, I see this empty building and I just have visions of it being. No, it's not going to be if you don't take the steps to do it. If you just sit up and believe you can't ever do it, then it won't ever be. But guess what? If you put some steps toward it, you take one step, take that faith walk. If you be bold enough to take it, take that faith walk. You don't know where God is going to lead you. Could you be open enough to say, Lord, I don't even know. I know that you have a plan for my life. Lord, just show me what the plan is. And then trust it. Trust it as you are walking. As you are walking, doors are opening. And when the doors are not opening, honey, windows are opening. And when the windows aren't opening, honey, there is a crack. There's a crack to doors that were once closed. And that's all you need, boo. That's all you need. Just an opportunity. Just get me in the room. Let me tell you something. Honey, it's something about manifesting. It's something about faith. It's something about trusting. I mean, and you can trust and manifest and believe in all of the things. And I woke up one morning and I was like, I am going to meet Bobby Brown today. I was at the Essence Festival, y'all. I'm going to tell you all this real quick because this is funny. Y'all need to understand. It doesn't matter what it is. I manifested that thing in my heart, my soul, and my spirit. I was like, I'm going to meet Mr. Bobby Brown today. I'm taking a picture with him today. That's what I said. I didn't know how I was going to get done, but everything in my whole spirit, I just embodied it and I started visualizing. And I was like, I'm taking a picture. I get up, I go. I walk down to the Essence. My cousin was like, they didn't want to go. I was like, y'all drop me off because I'm going. I go over there. I go back in the building. I walk over. I go to the little line. The lady was like, ma'am, this section is closed. They're not taking, nobody else can get in the line for the pictures. I was like, I know in my whole spirit I'm going to take a picture of Bobby Brown today. So I was like, okay, yes, ma'am, no problem. I said, all right. Okay, no problem. I go, I stand over everybody in the line. And I'm looking at the line, right? I'm looking at the line. And I'm like, the line is down and wrapped around. I'm like, okay, whatever. I go stand over here and I'm watching. I'm looking, I'm looking, and I'm watching. Look, I'm looking and I'm watching. This was at the time that the Bobby Brown story was about to come out, y'all. It's amazing. Right after the new edition. Y'all remember that? It was amazing. Okay, so so I go. I'm looking. I'm happy for the people in line. That was the other thing too, was that I was happy for the people. I was like, wow, this is nice. He speaks a lot of it's like I love all this love out here. This is great. This is amazing. It's all right. It's all right. That's okay. So I'm standing there. Well, guess what? Those people in the line, they didn't get to take a picture with Bobby. Guess what? They stood in line to take a picture of Woody and the young lady. And I'm sorry, young lady, I don't remember your name, but she was playing Whitney in the movie. She was beautiful. She did a great job. But her and Woody McClain were taking pictures with all the people in the line. Bobby came out. I got pictures of that too. Made a statement, but then he went back, right? He went back and he was looking. So what I got pictures of him looking. I was so happy and so content of just that I saw him in my pictures and I felt good. Then they said, you know what? We are going to premiere the movie today. The movie is premiering and Tim, just go around this corner right here. I was like, wow. Oh, that was extra. I had no idea. That was a bonus. I'm like, oh, this is amazing. Okay, let me go see the movie. Go through, sit through the preview, the movie piece and everything. I'm having a whole time. Do you hear me? Heart is bursting full of joy. Okay. I mean, I'm on a natural high that baby, if you, I don't know if you smoke, if you drink, or the highest that you have, the highest that you have ever been, honey, I surpassed you. I'm telling you right now, I was on the highest high. You couldn't tell me nothing, baby. I was happy. Do you hear me? Joy filled. Okay. I am pumped. I'm like, oh my God, this is so amazing. I'm so happy for Bobby because one thing is that I loves me some Bobby Brown, honey. Can you tell? I loves me some New Edition and I loves me some Bobby Brown. But I people that have gone through and have been through a lot, like I'm rooting for you. Like I'm genuinely just in my heart rooting for you. And Bobby is one of those people. He has struggled. He is, and I think he is one of those people that always got the short end of the stick. Like he got blamed for stuff that wasn't his fault with Whitney Like he was always the bad person. And it was just so evident that his heart was so big, right? And I've just always been a fan. Like I've always didn't care about what anybody, but I was always rooting for him. You know what I mean? Always rooting. And I love seeing people that have been in such crazy situations. I love the comeback story. I love the comeback. So at this point, I'm like, oh man, he done got through the drugs. He done got through the crazy. He done, his babies and Whitney done passed, but he's still here. He's still trying to be that light. You know what I mean? Like, I know sometimes it might feel like it's flickering, but he's still here. I'm rooting. I'm like, oh man. I mean, it just felt good to see him. And at that point, he was still drinking. So you could tell he was a little toasty at the thing, but nevertheless, he was there and he was trying. You know what I mean? So my heart was good. So we watched the thing, and then afterwards they was like, we're going to have the people come out, and they interviewed, and then everybody, they got the audience to ask questions and all that stuff like that. And then this little boy was in there, and he went down on the stage, and it was so funny because the little boy thought that Woody McClain was Bobby Brown because of the New Edition story. And you know what I mean? So he's this new generation of people that are NE for lifers and that whole thing. So nevertheless, they get on the stage, they do everything, and then they're like, okay, all right, bye. Oh my gosh, I'm so full. Oh my gosh, I'm so full. I'm like, oh my God, this was amazing. Bobby came out, answered questions too. And they were like, special guest, blah, blah, blah. Bobby came out. I'm like, it was amazing. I'm talking about high. Now, mind you, I started off my morning saying I was going to get a picture with Bobby B. But for me, I was like, I was okay. Like this was more, but still in my spirit. Okay. So everybody, they say it's over. Everybody get up and leave. I go down because I'm so excited. I want to take a picture with the little still frame, right, of Woody McClain, like sitting on the chair by Brown. So I go over, put my stuff down, the lady took the picture for me. I look over. Now the room is clear. I look over. Who is still in there over there talking to some people? I just instantly started praying, Lord, thank you, Jesus, thank you, Lord. Now at the same time, I'm getting my phone like, oh, Lord, thank you, Jesus. Oh my God. Is my camera gonna work? So mind you, he's over there talking to people, and then they start taking a picture, right? So as soon as y'all, they're standing there and they take the picture, I was like, can I take a picture with you? I said, can you take a picture with me? He was like, he got his hand around the people like this now. I done came up in his ear. I was like, can you take a picture with me? And he was like, I'm already taking a picture. And what was so crazy was my crazy, but I walk up with my hand with the camera. Look, I'm ready. She ready, honey. I walk up with my hand on the camera button, right? So I was like, can you take a picture with me? And took the picture like this as he talked. So when he said, I'm already taking a picture, it looked crazy because he was talking. I'm like, click, I took the picture anyway. So he's standing there, Bobby Brown standing there. And I was like, he was like, I'm already taking a picture. I was like, okay. But when you finish with them, can you take a picture with me? Oh my God. Y'all talk about like hot. Didn't I get my picture though? Didn't I get my picture? I did. I did, honey. Manifesting, having faith, speaking things into existence, baby. I believe in all of it. All of it is possible, honey. All of it is possible. It's just like, you put it out there And the universe, your guardian angels, yes, the spirits, God, whatever you want to call it. I love all of it, honey. I welcome all of it. Just I need all the help I can get. I'm ushering all of it in on my behalf. Help your girl out. I need some help. This is what I want to do. I've been connected to people. I have met people. I have, I said, Lord, please remove the snakes out of my life. And guess what? And just send me some good, genuine people. I have met the most amazing people because I believe that God is going to send those snakes up out of my life. I believe in the power of discernment. I ask for discernment. Lord, help me to. And so I feel people. I'm listening, I'm looking, I feel it. I feel the genuineness. I can feel even when some genuine people are being a little snakish. I'm like, that's a little snakish, but like I feel all of it. I feel the daggers. I feel the jabs. I feel the fake phony smiles. Like I feel it. I may or may not say something. Everything is not to be said. Some things are just to know. It's good to know how people feel about you. Like it's good to know. Is it painful? Like, damn. I'm really rooting for you. I don't want nothing but what's best for you sometimes. But some stuff is just good to know. So it is in that all plays a part in your mental health space and your mental health journey, honey. It is trusting and believing the process. It's asking for what you need. Do you know what you need, though? Know yourself enough. Do you know what you need? Have you taken the time to get to know you? Have you been living for everybody else? That will definitely cause depression. That will cause anger. That will cause frustration. When you are living for everyone else, what do you like? When you going to take some time for you? When you dead? I'm just saying. It's okay, right? It's something in us, some of us, right? Where you feel guilty. I call us the helper bees of the world. We feel guilty about taking time for ourselves. But I'm going to tell you something. Mr. Iyanla Vanzant said it best, baby. You can't pour from an empty cup, nor should you. If you're a helper bee in this world and you're giving, you have to take time to fill up your cup, or you will dry yourself out. So you'll be trying to figure out why. Somebody asks you a question, you don't want to answer no questions. You don't want to help nobody. You are angry. Every little thing somebody says irritates the hell out of you. What? What she say? Why she say like that? How she? What? What? Like, what's wrong with her? You be looking in the mirror. What's wrong with me? Why am I feeling like this? Why? She ain't even like it wasn't even it wasn't even that bad. Like what? Take some time, honey. Get to know yourself. Know what your mental status is. There is a test for depression, PHQ-9. I give it. It's a free test. If you go to my YouTube, to my link tree rather. Go to my link tree. Scroll down the second one under Success Fest. I did a webinar, walks you through a depression screen. It's free. Walks you through an anxiety screen. We talk about it. I take you through, that whole journey. It's like 45 minutes, but you can schedule it at any time that you want to schedule it. It's a quick little thing to have. You can schedule it and do it at your own time whenever you have a minute. And then you take that information, right? Because I'm not a doctor. I'm a nurse. I've been a nurse for 22 years. I'm not a doctor. But for me, you have to know where you are in order to fix it. And that's my purpose, educating and inspiring, and supporting people through their journey. All of the crazy, I believe, The good, the bad, and the crazy, they're all working together. And so in the finances, working together. The dips, the ups, the downs, the highs, the lows, all working together. This is it, baby. It's day 16. Faith walk. Your girl is 46 years young, y'all. Yeah. Now, what are we doing? We're getting our physical together, we're getting our mental together, we're getting our spiritual together, and our emotions together, honey. Your girl is not where I want to be in my physical. Guess what? I got a plan. I got a plan. Your girl is not where she want to be in her finances. Guess what? I got a plan. I got a plan. Not where I want to be in my emotions. Guess what? Got a plan. Got a plan. Not where I want to be in my spiritual. Got a plan. And you know why? Because it's always work to do. It's never over. Like I attended this Stuck conference y'all years ago, and I was like, oh, I figured this out. I fixed it. Now I'm fixed. I'm good. Now I'm fixed. I know what the problem was. I'm good. No. No. There's always more. Always more. It's always work to do. It's always some self-reflection, something to learn. Where would I be if I said, you know what, I know everything? I know it all. I don't need you anymore. I don't need no more help. Thanks, Lord. I got it from here. No. Always work to do, honey. If you feel like you know it all, baby, you probably the one that needs to sign up for my class. I got I got a 7-day program. I have a 10-week program. I have a 12-week program. I have free content on Clubhouse that gives you a look at the 7-day program. It gives you a glimpse into it. I have, information on YouTube. I have podcasts. Your girl is out here doing what the Lord has called me to do, honey, and that is trying to do my part in breaking the stigma. Sometimes I tickle myself, excuse me, y'all. Breaking the stigma associated with the mental health crisis, honey. That's as it relates to depression, anxiety, panic attacks, and PTSD. And I only talk about things that I know about, things that I can say, yeah, got over it, been through it, going through it, gonna get through it. That's your girl. So understand anything that you hear, any story that I tell, honey, there's never any malice in it because I truly believe in Romans 8:28. I truly believe in the good, the bad, and the crazy. It's all working together. So if you was part of the crazy, I hope you go to therapy. Don't be mad at me. Look, don't be mad at me. Go to therapy. Okay, work that out. I'm not playing, but I am playing. But there's never any malice in anything that I'm doing because it is coming from the heart. I honestly do believe in Romans 8:28. Good, the bad, and the crazy, honey. They're all working together. Fantasia sings a song. It's necessary. Everything you've been through, everything you've gone through, is to get you to a place where today is Don't Be a Crab Tuesday. What does that mean? It means for you to reach back and help somebody else. That's what I believe. Everything that you've gone through and been through, it really wasn't for you. It really wasn't. You got through it. As painful as it was, the grief, the anguish, all of it. But you're getting through it. You're still on this side of heaven. You can reach back and help somebody else. And so, like the incomparable Miss Celeste Brown, I aspire to inspire until I expire. That's what I'm doing, y'all. What you doing? Okay. Y'all have a good one. I'll be back tomorrow.